So far in this letter from James, we've seen him really just encourage us with the truth that this Christian life does look at times like a trial, like it is a struggle at times. But we can be encouraged that God will help us. Either in this life or in the life to come, we will be relieved from the trials that we are engaged in now. And he encouraged us yesterday to be those, therefore, that depend fully on God. Because he is an eternal God, we can depend fully on him. We can count on him to help those that are his. And we can count fully on him. We don't need to be those that have our feet in two camps, like relying on worldly help and also just hedging our bets with God. No, he says we can rely fully on God to bring us through, because he will. And a way that we can do that, a way that helps us understand that and really believe that, is to have an eternal perspective. Verse 9 to 11 says this: "Let the lowly brother boast in his exaltation, and let the rich in his humiliation. Because like a flower of the grass he will pass away, for the sun rises with its scorching heat and withers the grass. Its flower falls and its beauty perishes. So also will the rich man fade away in the midst of his pursuits." James is saying this. Have an eternal perspective about the trials and the suffering and the decisions and the questions that you are engaging in now. Don't just think that life is contained to the 70, 80, maybe a few more years if we're blessed, years that we have here. Like, we are eternal creatures. So the decisions that we make should be based in light of eternity. Andy, who's part of the Liberti Church, uses this analogy a lot. Like we can look at life as a tapestry, and on the back, all we see are the kind of threads and the mess, but at the front, God sees the whole picture. And he sees it in light of eternity. He sees all that we are doing now in light of an eternal life and eternal reality that we are engaged in. The truth is, if you're wealthy, you might have wealth one moment, but tomorrow it could be gone. Haven't we seen that so much in the last few months during the pandemic? Like, our economy is so volatile. But in light of eternity, will that really matter? Will those kind of things really matter? Is that where we should be pouring our effort and having our concern? Or should we be those that are concerned with eternal things? The things of life and death. The things that will really further God's kingdom and build his kingdom. So if you're struggling with suffering, trial, if you've got decisions in front of you to make today, I'd encourage you to view those things in light of eternity. An eternity which for God's people will have us with him without any suffering, without any trial, without any struggle, without any confusing decisions to make. So we can feel the weight of those things being taken off of us today. We can be those who experience joy in the midst of trial, because God has hold of us, and he has hold of us and will never let us go, now and for all eternity.